All right, so this is going to be the sample day 2 meal prep. This one is for 2,400 calories, around 180 grams of protein, 240 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat. So I'm going to go through and show you the differences I did between the day 1 and day 2. This is a great example of, let's say you are doing meal prep, you're a husband and wife, and you're doing meal prep, you live in the same house, you eat the same, you generally eat the same things. You can make the same things for your meal prep together and just change up your portion sizes, maybe change out a few things here or there, add things to help meet what your macros are. So that's what I did for these examples. You're going to see how on this day 2, the calories and the macros went up, but there's only a few changes I had to make to hit those numbers. So we're going to go through this. So same thing, we're going to assume this person works out in the morning. They're going to do their banana pre-workout and their protein shake post-workout. A note on that, if let's say you do your workout in the afternoon, then you can do this around your workout time. Have your banana before your workout, your shake post-workout, and then go have your dinner or have your lunch or however your timing is set up for your workouts. The biggest thing is you want to get that pre and post workout nutrition, and then you want to follow that up with a meal within an hour that has a good amount of protein and carb to it. Then for the breakfast, so I still did the sausage patty, I still did the 2 eggs, I still did the spinach. What I changed is on the 1,600 calorie example, we did a low carb wrap to help with the calories and the macros. On this one, I just did a regular multi-grain tortilla wrap. I chose that because it has a little bit more nutritional value to it. So this wrap, it has a lot more carbs. It's got a little bit more protein. But let's see, let's scroll down. It has 7 grams of fiber. It's low in sugar. So it's better than just a white flour tortilla wrap. And you can get any brand. They're probably going to be similar in macros. But just try to think about adding nutrition to your day, so something besides just white flour for things. They also make them in different flavors. You can get spinach or tomato. The same thing with those low carb wraps. They make those in several flavors. Then I also add a little bit of salsa onto this. I will note this, like if I make something like this, I'm probably going to put mustard on it. So you could add mustard into here. Mustard has 0 calories and macros to it. If you do a flavored mustard, I do a spicy mustard. I do track that because it does have calories and carbs to it. So just note that. Then for our snack, so the previous day I had a yogurt and the apple pear. What I did here was I still left the piece of fruit, but I added the mixed nuts, which is 1 ounce, which is a serving. I think that usually comes out to about 1/4 a cup. But with nuts, you can very easily overeat on these. So what I would suggest is that you measure out 1 ounce serving, put it in a little snack baggie, and have them packaged like that. So you could just have your package of nuts with the pear. I chose the mixed nuts because it had a lot more fat. And on this day, the fat content was higher. So it helped me to meet that. And I didn't need as much protein based on the other meals, so I took the yogurt out. Okay, so then we'll go down to our lunch. The lunch is exactly the same, actually. So I did the 6 ounces of the skinless, boneless chicken thighs, the rice. Although the rice, I did change the portion size. So if we click on that, I did 1.5 servings. So if you remember, the 0.2 cup is the 1/4 a cup serving, which is 3/4 cup cooked. Okay, so 1/4 cup dry is 3/4 cup cooked for jasmine rice. What I did here is when I would meal prep this meal, I would measure out 1.5 cups cooked rice, which is 1.5 cups or 1.5 of the dry serving. So on here, all you have to do under number of servings is select 1.5. And when you measure it out, you're going to put 1.5 cups of rice in your meal prep containers. So I did that to up the carb count. Then the meat, I left the same. The barbecue sauce. So a note on these barbecue sauces, one thing you can do to allow yourself to still have the things you enjoy, like salad dressings, barbecue sauces, is to choose lower calorie or sugar-free, fat-free versions, because a regular barbecue sauce is going to have probably 4 times the amount of calories that this will. It's also going to have a ton of sugar. So sugar is going to be carbs, and that's why sauces are usually carbs. The way you can still have those things is just find alternate versions. This particular brand, this G. Hughes Smokehouse sugar-free barbecue sauce, they have 3 different flavors plus a honey mustard plus a ketchup. So I love this brand of barbecue sauce. It just allows me to continue to have that. But you can use something else here. You don't have to use this. Then we'll go down to the snack. I left the red peppers and hummus, just like on the previous snack here. Then for dinner, what I did was the sweet potato, I increased the serving to 6 ounces to up the carbohydrate. I increased the cinnamon sugar to 2 teaspoons from 1. I increased the pork from 4 to 6 ounces to increase the protein intake. And then I added in some broccoli, some steamed broccoli with 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese for flavor. You can buy like broccoli, any kind of mixed vegetables in these steamable bags. You just stick them in the microwave, super quick and easy to make. You could also take fresh broccoli and steam that if you want to. This is just a quick and easy idea. So I added that in to add some more carbs to this meal. So if I go down to add food, save as meal, you'll see, this is a pretty good high carb, protein, low fat meal, because I have your fats come in other parts of the day, like fats around the snack. So if we scroll back up, here the red pepper and, the peppers and hummus. If we look at this one, it's carbs, fat, lower on protein. If we go up to this snack here with the nuts, see that one has a good amount of fat and carbs compared to protein. So you have to look throughout the day. You've got fat in the eggs and the sausage here, fat coming from the nuts. The chicken thighs is your primary source of fat here. The red pepper hummus is your primary source of fat here. The cheese, some from the meat, but not. This is a pretty lean meal. So you have to kind of play around with your fat sources. And again, you can choose fattier cuts of meat and have your fat from other sources, or have leaner other options. If you choose leaner cuts of meat, your fat have to come from other sources. So these are just ideas. And then at the end of the day, I did a Quest chocolate chip cookie dough protein bar. So I love these bars. Costco actually makes a generic version of this called Kirkland protein bars that are pretty good, and that's what I buy. But their carb and protein fat ratio is really good. So what you can do with this Quest bar, actually, I don't do these with the Costco ones because the texture is different, but with the Quest versions, any of their bars, to make it taste kind of like gooey chocolate chip cookie dough, if you take it out of the wrapper and put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds, it melts it perfectly to the perfect consistency. So to me, this is like a dessert. Okay. So now if we go down to nutrition, we look at our totals. The goal was 180 grams of protein. I got 181, so I'm 1 gram over. The carbs, the goal was 240. I'm at 239, so I'm 1 gram under. So if you remember, protein and carbs are both 4 calories a gram. So because I'm over 1 protein and under carbs protein, from a calorie standpoint, for total calories protein, total calories carbs, I'm even. Okay. Look at my fiber number, 44 grams of fiber. If you start to notice and look at your fiber numbers on days you eat a lot of processed and packaged foods versus days you eat a lot of whole foods, your fiber number will be very low on the days you eat processed and packaged foods. If you notice, both of these sample meal plans include a lot of whole foods. There's really not processed or packaged foods. The more calories you eat and the more macros you have, the more room you have to add those things in. For example, I had the Quest bar on this day. But when you start getting into lower amounts of calories, it's harder to do that. You'll find that if you stick to whole foods, you're going to feel a lot more full, more satiated. Your body's going to start feeling better because you're getting in micronutrients that those whole foods are providing. Sugar, 46, is pretty low for this amount of food. Look at the fat. It's right on target at 80 grams. So if you go by these numbers, my calories are actually at 2,400. Again, I'm adding protein number times 4, carb number times 4, my fat number times 9. I added all that together. It came out to 2,400 calories, which was what my goal was today. But if I go to the calories tab, it says I'm at 2,302. Remember what I said on the other video about how food manufacturers allow there to be, I think it's up to 15% discrepancy on when you scan something and what is actually in it that show up for the calories, but the macros will be correct. So that's why I say go by your macros on your nutrient tab. Don't pay attention to this calorie tab and say, oh, I have 100 more calories to eat today, when if you look at your nutrient tab, you're already at your calorie allotment. And sometimes when you're in a deficit and your maintenance calories, if you go over 200, you're really in maintenance. That can be the difference. So make sure you're paying attention to the macros that you're eating, not the calories on these fitness trackers. Then if I look at my macros, it's telling me I'm exactly, like, a lot of times I'm usually over or under a little bit, but I always get satisfaction when I see these numbers perfectly line up. So that's just me. All right, so that's kind of the difference between the 2 days. You can see I really didn't have to change a lot. It was just really adjusting portion sizes and maybe substituting a couple things here or there and adding some things in to get a higher calorie macro allotment. Hope you guys enjoy this and this helps.